TikTok crowd now. Are
Oh,
you live on
okay.
TikTok? All right, awesome. Mary just joined us. Perfect timing. We just went live, but for those of you who are watching this now, I went a little premature on the live.
What's up,
So
TikTokers?
yeah, Steve talking
We
to
are getting
TikTok.
ready to go live with a happy half hour with the incredible Mojo McCarthy. You will only hear him in the background. We haven't figured out a way yet to get him on the screen, so you'll have to face me on the screen. But stick around; you're going to love it. We're going to talk about Father's Day today. We're going to talk about dads today. There's going to be a lot of levity, a lot of fun. It is happy half hour, by the way.
Yeah. And since we're doing TikTok live, I just did my second one this morning. So let's see what I can do to make us go live on my TikTok as well, which would be so cool. We'll have two TikToks going at the same time. And so for you that happen to be in the room, well, the four of us, we went live a little. Oh, wait. So start video recording. Apparently didn't start. Okay. Or maybe Happy reset it for us. I don't know. Anyway, it didn't start. That's perfect. So I'm going to put my TikTok. Go ahead and talk to your TikTok livers while I am TikToking myself.
Mary, I see, and I can invite you
Oh,
to join as a guest, but I'm trying, but it won't let me. When I click it, it doesn't work. So thanks for joining us, Mary. Thanks everyone on TikTok for joining us on this whole thing. We come on Mondays and Wednesdays or Mondays and Thursdays. Happy half hour. It's 2 half-hour happy hours. 5:30 to 6. We talk about a topic. 6 to 6:30. We'll talk more about that topic, but then it's more discussion based with those that have watched before or whatever. So we'd love to hear your input. This is all new to us. So anyway, edit invites you to co-host. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I don't know. I'm
hang
too
on.
old.
Hang on. Oh, okay. It's what's going on here. It says I have too many characters. How did you get that to work
You are
on the
you are
TikTok?
too many characters. Not you have too many characters, Joe. You
Yeah.
are too many characters.
I
Hey,
am.
by the way, I am heading down to Yelm. It's about an hour from me here. And Saturday I get to co-host their parade. I guarantee they've never heard a parade like what they're gonna get this year.
What subject did you use for your TikTok?
I didn't. I just said go live.
Oh, but ask you. Okay, it asks you what topic. No. All right. So
We're figuring this out as we go, folks.
yes,
Sometimes
we
it's
are.
best that one of my favorite quotes is take the leap. Sometimes it's best to take the leap and build your wings on the way down.
That's right. So welcome to my
As
TikTok
we
crowd
take
as
the
well.
leap today. Yes.
Welcome to my TikTok crowd as well. We're not live on Chatmosa, but if you want to join us on Chatmosa, you can be in the live chat with Steve-O and I. Because on TikTok, you can't see my screen. You're only going to see me, but you'll hear Steve-O through the system. So I'm going to go live on chatmosa.com. That's chatmosa.com right now to launch this episode, which is episode 8 of Happy Half Hour. Starting in what? On what? It does? How come it doesn't say it on my screen? Welcome to the freak
Welcome.
show. All right, let's do this. Woo, it's the happy half hour
Yes,
with
it
Steve
is.
O and Mojo. This is season 1, episode 8. And we have no idea what we're doing yet, but you're ready to come along for the ride as we learn to fly in the air and build the plane as we're at it. So, welcome to the happy half hour. This is this is Wednesday, June 11th. I think it is. I
Dude,
think
you
I
didn't sing
can.
anything. Why
I
didn't you
think I
sing it?
can.
Why didn't you
All right,
sing the
so
introduction?
welcome to the happy half hour with Steve-O and Mojo. Is
Yeah,
that what you
yeah.
wanted? Yeah, yeah. All right. Great to have you here. I just had to do that because Steve made me. The devil made me do it. No, it was Steve-O. All right. So here we are.
Devil, or
We're
sometimes I call him Steve-O. I
we're
guess the
live
devil's got a
on
first name now.
we're live on chatmosa.com. We're live on TikTok. And Steve-O's broadcasting from his TikTok, and I am from mine as well. Austin Mary is with us, and Happy, who is one of the founders and programmers of chatmosa.com. So thank you so much, Happy, for making this possible. All right, so Steve-O, before we jump into today's topic, let's introduce ourselves to those who haven't met us before. So I'm going to let you go first, brother. Let people know who you are, what you're about.
Of course, my name is Steve. My friends call me Steve-O. Those who really know me call me Steve Uh-oh. I am a happypreneur. An entrepreneur finds creative ways, starts businesses, makes money. But I spend my time finding creative ways to help people be happy. I'm here to help you navigate, which means to find, activate, which means to turn on, and then advocate, which means to walk along beside you. That's why we started a thing called Happy Life Studios to do just that. We put out weekly podcasts, we put out videos. We want to flood the airwaves with happy and hope and positivity. Instead of cursing the darkness, we just want to flip a light on. So I'm a messenger. I'm here to help, and that's an acronym. It stands for I'm here to bring healing, encouragement, to make people laugh, and to make people ponder. That's my thing, Steve-O. Mojo, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a playful polymath. That just means I have expertise in more than two fields that are unrelated. I call myself a modern day minstrel. I'm a musician.
Mm,
I'm
I like
actually a
that.
songwriter and recording artist as of recent months, which is a new title for me. I love words. I'm a word nerd and proud of it because I think that words create worlds, and in fact, words is how the world was created. If you want to go way back to the beginning of time. But I'm here because I believe our words, Steve-O, matter. I believe that
Yeah,
what we say matters, not because just because it's you and me, but because it plants seeds. And it may be very likely that the people who are listening won't hear exactly what we mean, but because we say something, it might spark an idea inside of them. That's our hope, to create mind babies, we call it, so that the words get planted in your mind, and then they create an idea that isn't necessarily yours or mine. It's the mixture of the two.
yeah.
Mary, I saw your hand up. I don't know if that was on intentional or not, but if you got something to jump in here, please do. All right, great. No worries. So, Steve, as you mentioned to me earlier today, Father's Day is creeping upon us. I think it's this Sunday. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Speaking of, when you think of fathers and creeping, you don't think of Father's Day. You think about other articles of clothing.
Fathers and creeping. Great segue. Oh God, I love it.
Oh, whatever happened to, when we looked at our dads, we're like, I'm never going to be like that. And then you turn out to, you start wearing black socks. I always wonder, why does my dad wear black socks? And now they have black athletic socks. But back then they had black dress socks and white, socks that you wore with your tennis shoes. And my
Up to your
dad wore
knees
black socks all the time. He's mowing the lawn in black socks. I'm like, what? Well, I get it now.
with
I'm
shorts
too
on.
lazy. I don't want
Right.
to I don't want to put on a pair. Besides, to put on socks now, it's a whole different thing than when I was 20 years old.
Putting them on and taking them off, right?
Right. I mean, like when I'm down there, I look to see if there's anything else I can do while I'm down there, because I don't have to go back down there again to put on my
I start to get stars. I get lightheaded. Like, oh my gosh, if I
right,
stay bent
right,
over too much longer, I'm gonna crash.
right. And then
Oh,
they always said dumb things too, like go ahead, climb up that tree, you fall down and break your legs, don't come running to me. Well, okay, Dad.
oh,
Then when they ask you, this always got me. So, were you born in a barn? I'm like, first of all, I'm thinking, I don't remember, Dad. If I was born in a barn, how would I know? Secondly, if I was born in a barn, isn't that kind of your fault, not mine? I mean, I didn't have a. Why would you have me in a barn? Maybe they think I'm like Jesus or
hey,
something.
I was thinking, yeah, if I was born in the barn, I'm in good company because I think that's where Jesus was
That's right.
born
That's
too, right?
right.
Yeah, I love it. So
Oh,
one
Father's
of
Day is creeping. It's
yeah.
creeping, Joe.
Okay, we got some creepers on the show. Oh God, hilarious. So one of your stories just sparked in me the epic fight I had with my sister. My sister's 5 years older than I am, and if you think of the Peanuts gang with Snoopy and Charlie Brown, my sister was Lucy
Lucy.
all the way through. Now she didn't have black hair. My sister had blonde hair, but she was tough as nails and didn't take. She was like John Wayne. She was rough and tough and didn't take crap up at nobody. And she was so tough. We wouldn't let her play football with us because she tackled too hard. But one time, one time she and I were picking on each other, and the tensions were mounting, and we knew we'd get in trouble if we started fighting. And so we thought, let's ask permission, right? So we go to my mom, say, we're so mad at each other. Can we fight? And my mom says, go ask your father. so, so we go ask dad, and dad says to me, he doesn't talk to my sister. He looks at me. He says, Joe, if and when you get hurt, don't come crying to me. I told you so. Right? So I figured, okay, I got this one. We went across the street into this field. This is in Buffalo, Wyoming. It's just dirt field and straw. And I knew I couldn't get too close to her because
Are
she'd
you
clobber
talking
me.
your house now or the field?
What's the question?
You said the dirt. Never mind. Never mind. Bad joke. Just keep
We're
going.
across the street from the
Sorry.
house. Yeah, and I've got so I didn't want to get too close to my sister, and I was faster than she was, but she just stood still with this steel stare, like I dare you, I dare you. So in my crazy boy mind, I pick up two handfuls of dirt, rocks, and straw, and I tell my sister, who was very proud of her hair. I said, "I'm going to throw this in your hair," and she says, "No, you're not." I said, "I am too." She says, "No, you're not." She said, "If you do, it's the last thing you'll remember for a week." And I said, "Oh yeah." Boom! I threw it in her hair, and I don't remember anything for the next week. But all I remember was I couldn't go tell my dad because he'd just say, "Son, I warned you. What were you thinking?" And I say, "Dad, if you thought I was thinking, I never would have gone out there in the first place."
Dude, you're quite the fighter, man.
Woo, aren't
Don't
I?
I mean, don't mess with Joe. He'll throw dirt in your hair. Come on, bring it.
If you want to mess with me, you got to talk to my sister. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of your sister, was she out there? You just went on a trip, didn't
I
you?
did,
To
yes.
Montana or something? How did
I
that go?
did. Yeah, I just got back from Montana, which I grew up in Montana. For those that don't know, you can call me Joe Montana, but I never take that name because of the number 16. But anyway, I'm Joe from Montana. I grew up in Montana, and we went back there for the wedding of my niece. My brother's youngest daughter got married in Lewistown, Montana, population just under 6,000. And I got to tell you, it was like stepping back in time. There was like it was like Old West, maybe 1880. The buildings were still there from who knows when the city was founded, and it was gorgeous. But I'm now living in Orange County, California, so this is culture shock for me. It's reverse culture shock going back from whence I came. But yeah, I got to be with all my siblings and all of their extended family, and it was wonderful. It's just wonderful to be with them all again.
Very cool. I love it. I love it. You see your dad?
I did. So my dad now is 85 years old. He turned
Now, did he have
85.
things creeping up on him? Imagine at 85, he probably
Yeah, it was
does.
me. I was creeping on him whenever he wasn't looking right. Yeah,
85 years old. Right on. Come on,
yeah.
Dad.
So my dad at 85 was fighting pneumonia and some sort of lung condition,
Oh,
but
wow.
he would not miss the wedding, right? Because his family's all there, and he loves his family. So he took all the drugs he could, all the steroids, got all the rest he could, and made sure. And when he got to the wedding, not only did you have to walk down this hill to this beautiful, gorgeous place in front of the river that flew that was running through the property. Seriously, it was like a river runs through it where the wedding ceremony was. But afterwards, for the reception, there was no elevator. It was a two-story barn, and everything was happening upstairs. And my dad would not let anybody help him up the stairs. At 85,
Montana tough, baby.
oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, he's rough and tough for sure. In fact, I tease him. I said, if John Wayne and Steve McQueen had a love child, that would be your father. And then he says, "Son, if you ever say that again, I'll take you out of this world, and I won't think about it because I can make another one looks just like
He
you."
looked just like you. There's another of those things that dads always say, right?
That's right.
Hey, he's a smart guy, though. I mean, when I have to go to somebody's wedding, I usually want to take steroids and drugs myself. So, way to go,
Whether you
Dad.
need him or not, right? So they had this dance at the wedding. Steve, you'll love this. They had this dance, and they said, "Okay, all you married couples come out here," and then they started weeding them out. Anybody that's been married 5 years or less, you sit down. 10 years or less, 20. Got to 40 years or less. My dad and his wife, which is my stepmom, and this other couple, just two couples left. 40 years or less, sit down. Nobody sits down. 50 years or less. You've been married 50 years or less, sit down. And my dad and stepmom been married 49 years. 50 this summer, had to
Wow.
bow out to the couple who was the parents of my parents of my sister-in-law. So this was my niece. Anyway, I never get all that right. Anyway, there's one other couple who've been married for 60 years. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You've been married longer than I've been alive. I
Wow.
was like, whoa, good for you. Good on you.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must have been
Right.
crazy.
That's cool, man. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, my word. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different generation for sure. Tell me about your dad, Steve. What's your memories of your dad?
Oh man, my dad was a funny man. My dad was a quiet man. My dad had a great sense of humor. My dad was a good man. He grew up without a father. His father left him. So my dad didn't learn from any fathers on how to be a father, and yet he was still a fantastic father. My dad was very unique. My dad was a pastor, so I was a PK, a problem kid. I mean, preacher's kid. And but my dad, he didn't do things like a lot of the other guys did. My dad was just a regular dude. And oftentimes, when there's pastors, there can be pretension, there can be, you know, a lot of pastors, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to invite them to their birthday parties. Now, you and I both know pastors that would be great at a birthday party. But my dad was just very, he was very funny. My mom, on the other hand, she was funny unless she tried to be, and then she was corny. But my dad was, he was a good man. He was a good man. He was quiet, but he was a good man. While you're getting ready there, Joe, I came up with something. I found this. I've talked about this a lot over the years. It's a poem called "God Created Man." So I thought I would share this while Joe figures out what's going on with this thing there. It's called "God Created Man." It's a poem. God created the donkey and said to him, "You will be a donkey. You will work untiringly from sunrise to sunset. You'll be carrying burdens on your back. You'll eat grass. You will have no intelligence, and you will live 50 years." The donkey answered, "I'll be a donkey, but to live 50 years is too much. Can just give me 20 years instead." And God granted his wish. God created the dog. He said to the dog, "You will guard the house of man. You will be his best friend. You will eat the scraps that he gives you, and you will live for 30 years. You will be a dog." The dog answered, "Sir, I appreciate it, but to live 30 years like that is way too much. Just give me 15 years instead. Is that okay?" And God said, "Yes," and he granted his wish. God created the monkey. He said to the monkey, "You will be a monkey. You will swing from branch to branch doing tricks. You will be amusing, and you will live 20 years." The monkey answered, "I will do that gladly, but to live for 20 years like that is just too much. It's too embarrassing. Can I just have 10 years instead?" God granted his wish. Finally, God created man. He said to him, "You will be man, the only rational creature on the face of the earth. You will use your intelligence to become master over all the animals. You will dominate the world, and you will live 20 years." The man responded, "Sir, I mean, I appreciate that. I'm glad to be a man, but to live only 20 years like that, that's too little. Can I have the 30 years of the donkey refused, the 15 years the dog didn't want, and the 10 years the monkey said no to?" God thought about it for a second and said, "Sure." And ever since then, man has been living 20 years as a man, marries and spends 30 years like a donkey, working and carrying all the burdens on his back. Then, when his children are grown, he lives 15 years like a dog, taking care of the house and eating whatever's given to him, so that when he is old, he can retire and live 10 years like a monkey, going from house to house and from one son or daughter to another daughter or son, doing tricks to amuse his grandchildren. It's
Who
not easy
wrote
being a
that?
man. It's not easy being a dad. It just isn't easy being a dad. I have a friend. His name is Jeff Boyd, and they call him Fedge. And he said,
Fetch.
"Man, parents are just kids having kids." And I was like, "Well, my parents are pretty old." So he explained it to me. You know, when they had me, they were pretty old. And but he said, when you have kids, you're just a kid. In your mind, you just think you're a kid yourself. You're never ready to have kids. When kids come, whether you're 16 years old or you're 30 years old, you're not ready to have kids. You're just not. You in your mind, you still think you're a kid. And the kid comes out and you have to learn how to be a parent. And it is not, maybe you have a different experience than me, but it is not being a mom or a dad. It is not easy being a parent. It's just really difficult. Agree or disagree? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is a phrase that I have said many times since I became a parent myself, and that is that parenting is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Parenting is not for the faint of heart, right? It's one of these things. Like, this is really interesting, Steve, what you brought up, because when I was in my graduate program at Pepperdine, we had this guest speaker who came in who'd been doing consulting his whole life, and he said, "Here's the definition of a calling." Actually, I don't know if it was a definition. But he was describing what's a calling like. Because we were asking him, let's lead into that a little bit. Back up a little bit in the conversation. We were asking him, "Hey, you started telling us all these stories about what you've been doing in your career as a consultant, and many of the stories are extremely difficult, like all the challenges you faced." And he says, "Yeah, because here's the deal: you don't know what it's going to require until you get into it." In fact, he said, if somebody had painted the picture before I started into this career, these are all the things you'll have to face, all the challenges you face, I would have said, no, thank you. I'd have picked something that sounded a lot easier and more fun than that. And I thought, if that isn't this idea of calling, that's really applies to parenthood. What you're talking about here is that There's no way someone could have told me before I became a parent how difficult it would have been. First, I wouldn't have understood because I don't have that context. But two, if I had understood, I would have said, well, in that case, I would rather not. I mean, just for instance, I went after my first child was born, from the day my first child was born until I had a good night's sleep where I slept through the night.
Right.
It was 10 years. 10 years. I'm telling you, my first child did not sleep through the night until after she was 2 years old. And my second child was born just prior to that. And she didn't sleep through the night until she was 8. 10 years in a row, I did not sleep through the night. And oftentimes I got interrupted many times. And if you had told me in advance, Joe, when you become a dad,
Oh,
you're not going to
thanks.
sleep through the night for
I'm
10
out.
years, I would say,
I'm
yeah, one, no thanks. And two, you're nuts because I couldn't function. How would I be able to function? That just, nobody could do that, right? But here's the deal: parents do what parents have to do because it's their calling. It's their, I don't know, it's their, I can't think of another better word, right? To think of a better word than calling in that instance.
Well, that's why I think weirdness is hereditary. You talk about driving you nuts. Weirdness is hereditary. You get it from your kids. At one point, our kids can look at us and go, "Mom and Dad, they're so uncool." We were cool at one point, and then we had kids. And I don't know if it was when the minivan came on, we had to grab the minivan and give up our man card or what. But we were cool at one point. At one point, we were young like you, and we were cool, and we dressed right. And then we had kids, and one is okay, then two comes out. I mean, after a while, dude, weirdness is hereditary. You get it from your kids. So calling or not, it whatever it is, I think calling is a great word for that.
I can't think of a
And
better word.
boy, I just
Well,
here's
let me
no.
ask.
Let me ask you this question before you move on. I just want to ask you a question
Sure,
before I forget. Okay, so
absolutely.
knowing all that, you said if you knew it, you probably wouldn't have jumped in, and I'm with you on that. I completely understand that, right? But my other
Right?
question is actually this though. But would you do it again, Joe?
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Isn't
crazy
that
part.
crazy? Like we'd
That's
never
like a,
sign up for it. We'd
yeah.
never do it. We're in there going, what in the world am I doing? I can't do this anymore. This kid is driving me nuts or driving me crazy. Right. I remember one time before I give it back to you to share your story, but I remember one time one of my sons, was just driving me crazy. Weirdness is hereditary. You get it from your kids. He was
So is
driving
it
me
sanity?
crazy. Right, exactly right. And so I finally went up to my wife. I said, "What is wrong with this kid? He's driving me crazy." And she was doing something. Can't remember what. And she just looked up, Joe, and she just said, "He's just like you." And looked like Joe. Dude, she had no idea what I did, but that took me out, man. I had to go back on the bed in the back room and practice my Lamaze breathing all over again. I had to be like, calm down. Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
So
he is like me. I went back to her like 30 minutes later. She had no idea how she zinged me. Right. And
yeah.
I had tears in my eyes. I was like, babe, she's like, what's wrong? I said, I'm so sorry. For what? I'm sorry for what I put you through all of these years.
That's what you got to call your parents too. Mom, Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And the thing is, the same idea, Steve, is that you take your parents for granted until you become one. You have no
Mm,
idea what your parents have
well
sacrificed for
said.
you.
Well
You can't
said.
even imagine what your parents have sacrificed for you. Then you become
Yeah.
a parent and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I mean, I am way more grateful for my parents than I've ever been because I am one.
Yeah.
And I know the circumstances were different, but the principle is the same. You make crazy, nutty sacrifices. I mean, the things you do for love. The funny song is you walk in the rain and the snow and there's no place to
Hmm.
go. But parenting, when you love your kids, and I know not every parent loves their kids, but most do. When you love your kids, you will sacrifice almost anything,
Yeah.
including your life, for
Yeah.
them, right? That's what love looks like. That's what real love looks like
Yeah.
agape love, unconditional love, right? My father told me, I can't remember if we shared the story now, but it's appropriate because it's Father's Day is coming up. So I was adopted as a baby, Steve, as you know, and so I was kind of wondered because my parents had a biological child, my sister Lucy, before I was 5 years before I was born, but they couldn't have any more biological children, so they prayed for God would help them expand their family, and they adopted me 5 years after my sister was born, and then another brother, non DNA related, 2 years later, Dan. So the three of us grew up, and I asked my dad in my 20s. I said, Dad, what was it like? How was it different when my sister was born, which was their biological child, and then when you went and got me from the adoption agency? And he says, I've never told you this. And I said, No, Dad, I'm sure I would have remembered. But if you have, tell me again. He says, Son, when your sister was born, they didn't let me in the delivery room back in those days. It was 1961. He said, but I was in the pacing in the waiting room, of course. And then when they brought your sister out to me for the first time, he said, I knew in an instant that I would die for this child. I'd never met her before. I had no idea what she would do or wouldn't do, what she would grow up to be like. It didn't matter. In an instant, he said, I had this love I'd never known before, and I knew I would do anything and everything for this child, including step in front of a bullet for her. He said, when you were born, Joe, and they adopted me at 3 weeks old, he said, we were in the adoption agency and they brought me out. They brought you, Joe, out to me, and I held you for the first time. He said the exact same feeling flooded my body, immediately head to toe. He said it was exactly as if they'd handed me your sister. He said I knew for an instant, this is my
Mm.
son. I will do anything and everything for him to give him the best possible life. I will die for him. He said there was no difference. Biological, adopted was the same. Now, I didn't know the difference, but I haven't had any biological children. I have two adopted children, and that's exactly how I feel about them.
Wow, that's amazing. I thought too when you're like you're when you share a story and you say you share the one side and then you come back and share the other side, it's usually the opposite and there's a little bit of humor in there. So when you start off by saying he had his daughter and he would take a bullet for her, he loved her so much, and then you said, and then he had me and he said Joe, and I was waiting for you. What in the world is this thing that
Can I send it back? This
so
isn't what I.
I'm glad it went better than that. I'm glad that he loved you so much. I mean, it's so cool. There is, man, it boy. The reason I like the word calling is because, not everyone has a choice. I mean, a lot
Right,
of people choose to be parents, and that's cool when that happens. Like when you can
right.
choose it, but
Like
sometimes
me.
there's
They chose me.
surprises.
Yeah.
Right, right. And what I love about that too is that you were adopted, and then you adopted two amazing young girls, and I just that's what a cool thing. And think about it. Where would you have been? Where would your daughters be if
Right.
you weren't
Yes.
adopted? Would that have happened?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, but it's
Wouldn't
just
be
pretty
here.
cool the
I'd be
difference that we
somewhere, but I
make.
wouldn't be here. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think those little things like that, I think as being a dad, I don't know. This is gonna maybe I'll get a little emotional here, but
Do it.
it's just easy to see all the things that you mess up in. You look back on it and it's just so easy to I wish I would have done that more. Because when they're younger, you sign up with this child needs me. This child has to have me. Then they get older, and the toddlers or whatever, or even a little bit older than that. And they're like, you're going up with this child still needs me. This child loves me. My
Right.
son, my youngest son would be, I remember one time, one of his birthday parties, and I have to remind myself of this because, well, I'll tell you that in a second. But I came in, he goes, and I was late to the birthday party by a few minutes or whatever. And all his friends were there. And he said, oh, cool. Now the fun can begin. Dad's here. Like, so then,
Yes.
you grow up where they need you. Then you grow up where they want you, and then they start getting older. It's natural, right? They have to leave the house at some point. Okay. You want them to grow up and develop and have other lives. And, and sometimes people are living with their parents well into the 30s, 40s, whatever. I'm not talking about those situations, but at some point, your kid has to learn how to live on their own if they're going to get married or have kids or whatever, And at that point, that's the hard part because now you're starting to see all the things that you wish you could have done more because now they're not, Dad, you're the greatest thing in the world. Right.
Right.
One thing that all dads wish they could hear from their kids other than Dad, you were right. Or Dad, who cares how much it costs? I don't care. Just get me. Those are things that we'd all love to hear from our dad. It's okay. That's another thing. But the one thing that dads would just love to hear from the kids is, Dad, I love you. Dad, you're the best. Dad, you're so
You're my
cool.
hero.
You're
You're
my
my hero.
hero, right? And we don't always hear that, and yet we're still parents, right? And
Yeah.
and if you're a kid out there, if you're alive, then you're somebody's child, right? And
Yes.
even if you had a dad that you kind of had to adopt because your dad wasn't the kind of father or the mom wasn't the kind of mother that you wish you would have had, but there's some other adults in your life that poured into you, make sure you take some time to just say, you are cool, or this is what you've done for me, and I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. And I think that's one reason why it's difficult to be a dad because it's easy to look back on all the things that you could have done. We all could have done something better. There's no doubt about that, right? But we don't look at the little things that we did do. Your parents, if they did nothing else than adopt you, now you have two children that you've adopted and poured love into. And the point I went all took all that time to just say the point of we also need to start taking a look at the things that we have done right, even the little things, the things that we did do that was well, even if it was just small, because those small things they make the biggest difference, and they do add up. You're a polymath, so you know all about math, right? All those poly means many things, right? They all add up.
So, Steve, we only got, we actually don't have any time left in this episode, but what I want to do before we close, and I'm inviting you, Steve, and then anybody who's tuned in now or who listens after the fact, I want you to take 1 minute here and name, Steve, one thing you did right as a father. Tell me, your friend, one thing you did right as a father, and I'll do the same for you.
I could tell you more than that, but I'll try to be real quick. I love them. I did my best. I really did my best. And I went to all their events, drumline, sporting. I went to all of their events, rain, shine, sun, in the rain and the snow when there's no, like the song you said earlier.
There we go. Yeah.
And I also remember a time too, where like my one son loved water. He loved to swim. And there were times when I was hitting the pool on vacation or whatever, I was just stressed out and I needed to just relax and rest. And my son, he was there, man. He wanted to hang all over dad. You know what? I let him. I didn't yell at him. I might have rolled my eyes or done whatever, but I knew, wait a minute, I want my son to, and at the times that he would come on and he would jump on my lap when I wanted to watch a show or whatever, I allowed that to happen. So those are a few things that I did well. What about you, Joe? Can you think of a thing that you've done well with your kids?
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of time here, so I'm just going to go right to the fact that I adopted them. Right, when we found out we were infertile, we had a choice to make, and one was we could be dual income, no kids, which is very attractive. Dual income, no kids, no really bills, no worries, no chaos, no mess. But my wife and I knew we wanted to be parents, that we were created to be parents, right? We were loved, and we needed to love. And so we adopted first one girl, and we had no idea how she would turn out. We had no idea about her background. We had no idea if she would even love us back. Didn't matter, because we chose to love her, and we raised her. And then a year and a half after she was born, and after a long trial to fight for the custody, the right to be her parent, then we found out from the biological mother that she was pregnant again. And now we are faced with the possibility of adopting her half sister. And as what no-brainer as that sounds, we just gone through 9 months of trial, a hell, the possibility, very real possibility we could have lost our first daughter. And it was excruciating. It was expensive. It was hell. It was the hardest thing I've done as a parent. It was the trial. And now, right on the heels of that, the biological mother says,
another opportunity.
She said, I'm not proud of this, and I don't know how to tell you, but I'm pregnant again. And if you, Joe and Libby, would like to adopt my next daughter, that would be great. I'd love that as well. And it was a different biological father. And we thought, God, can we go through that again? Didn't even answer her on the spot. But on the drive home, I was like, how can we not? Yeah. How can we not? Even if it does mean going through hell again, yeah, I'll do it for her. Of course I do it for her. Yeah. And so now my girls are 18 and 16, and yeah, they only talk to me when they need money or they need a ride or they need chores done. That's about it. But I got to tell you, as much as that hurts sometimes, I'm kind of proud of the fact that I've worked my way out of parenting.
Wow.
I mean, the best parents work their way out of a job.
Wow.
If my kids are dependent on me their whole life, well, then they've never grown up. My job is to help them to grow up so they can not be dependent upon me. Now, I want them to be interdependent, of course. I don't want them to be codependent. I don't want them to be dependent. I want them to be interdependent. And there's going to be this period of time where they want to be independent and they don't need that anymore. But eventually, I'm believing one day we'll be interdependent again. So we're overdue. I just want to tell all you parents out there, dads in particular, oftentimes what you do is unseen and unsung.
But we appreciate you. And yes, we're telling you, we see you. Yep. And we're singing your praises. Dads, you're awesome.
You are unseen, unsung heroes. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add a song here to the end, and this may be cut out of the podcast that Steve-O does on Happy Life Studios because of copyright issues, but I can get away with it here live. And so this song came to mind as we were preparing for
Is it another one, Bites the Dust?
Father's Day. That's also appropriate.
Gloom, despair, and agony on me. That's a good one.
only child, alone and wild, the cabinet maker's son. His hands were meant for different work, and his heart was known to none. He left his home and went alone, his solitary way. Gave to me a gift I know I never can repay. A quiet man of music denied a simpler fate. He tried to be a soldier once, but his music wouldn't wait. He learned his love through discipline, a thundering velvet hand. His gentle means of sculpting souls took me years to understand. The leader of the band is tired and his eyes are growing old. But his blood runs through my instrument and his song is in my soul. My life has been a poor attempt to imitate the man. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band. My brother's lives are different, for they heard a different call. One went to Chicago, the other to St. Paul. And I'm in Colorado when I'm not in some hotel, living out this life I chose and I've come to know so well. I thank you for the music and your stories of the road. I thank you for the freedom when it came my time to go. I thank you for the kindness and the times when you got tough. Papa, I don't think I said I love you enough. The leader of the band is tired, his eyes are growing old, but his blood runs through my instrument and his song is in my soul. Life has been a poor attempt to imitate the man. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band. I am a living legacy to the leader of
Joe, I also think that last line could also be, I am a living legacy, a leader and a dad.
yeah. So all you dads, Steve, you in particular, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
Dad.
it. Thank you, Dad. All right. Until next time, tune in right here on
We're
chatmosa.com.
coming back real shortly.
We'll be right back. Peace out and peace in.